Hello everybody, my name is Nick James Amsden. In this episode of Cardwire, we'll be talking about many things, including what has been happening at camps, cornerback situation, and other stuff that I feel like is important to talk about. Let's get right into it. So this week, actually 6 days ago from when I'm making this video, DD Viking made a post when he went to camp. And the thing is about this is I would love if someone who goes to the camps a lot, maybe often, maybe every once in a while, if you could get in contact with me, anyone, I'm not just saying DD, I would love to talk about your analysis on the show. Even if you're not that good of analysis, you're good enough to watch and understand some of the things that are happening. If I could go, I would, but I can't because I live in Washington, which sucks. But let's get right into it, though. DD Viking had a lot of good analysis. I'm not going to talk about it all, obviously, because it is a lot, but I will say some of the things I thought were interesting. That I'm actually really excited to see. He's talked about the wide receivers and running backs. The wide receivers and running backs apparently look pretty good to a point. He believes that John Brown didn't look 100% yet, which makes sense because he was coming off a big injury this year. And John Brown looks like he's back to his old self, which I love. But the thing is, after he made this post, I think John Brown tweaked his hamstring. But I think that's not that big of a deal. He'll be back, and I don't think that it's not going to be that big of a deal. He also talked about the field goal unit, which I love to hear that they're doing good because when Phil Dawson came in, I was a naysayer, but apparently he's been hitting field goals from 53 to 56 yards, which is impressive for his age, so I do enjoy that. On to one of my favorites, Scooby Wright. Everyone loves Scooby. He's Scooby. What can you do? He's been apparently looking good, impressing even before I saw this post. I've seen a lot of people, coaches and stuff talking about Scooby. I hope we see him play a little bit this year, which gets me on to the next part. Thank you, DD, for saying that I could read some of this stuff. I'll link the rest of it down in the description below. You should really read it if you want to learn what's going on at camp and you haven't been there just like me. Getting into something with, like I said, with Scooby, he is actually in the second position for dollar linebacker behind Hassan Reddick right now since Dion is hurt. And I've heard that on special teams he's been looking good too. So there's a lot of good things coming out of this guy. And then also on the depth chart, we see our starting line pretty much so far, which is DJ, Mike, AQ, Evan Boehm actually starting at right guard, which might come as a surprise to some people, but isn't that much of a surprise because I've heard even since last year he's been practicing at right guard. Has looked pretty good. So I'm excited to see that. Obviously, Jared and DJ had the switch like left tackle and right tackle. So I trust Jared. I think he's a great tackle. They're good. On the tight ends, we don't see much. Actually, surprisingly, it's funny, I didn't know that Troy Nicholas was still on the team. He always seems like a guy that could be really good, but we don't use our tight ends enough to utilize them. We have Jermaine, and it's just not likely he'll see the field much, especially since he's been kind of a disappointment since we drafted him in the second round. But we'll see. Also, on to something else. So far, as a surprise as no one, the QB depth chart is Carson, Drew, Blaine, and Trevor. But I think really the battle is for third string with Trevor and Blaine. I've heard Trevor's been doing really good, and I've heard Blaine's been doing really good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Not that many more surprises on the depth chart. We do see that running backs and wide receivers are extremely deep. I love it. I'm excited to see Elijah Penny. I'm excited to see David Johnson. Both guys have been apparently having really good camps. Same with Chris. Basically all of them. If I was to actually pick someone who wasn't going to make the team, it would be Andre Ellington. Even though I like Andre Ellington, I don't think he'll make the team with this depth chart. I think there's more potential in Kerwin Williams and Elijah Penny than there is in Andre Ellington. I know we like to make him a wide receiver, but I don't think we need him a wide receiver or running back. I don't think his skill set is something we need, personally. But yeah, these running backs have been impressing me in the film and tape I've seen. Anyway, on to the next story. Let's talk about Robert Kimdichie. A man that came out of Ole Miss that impressed the coaches enough for him to be picked in the first round. Obviously, did not play more than 3 snaps last year, but apparently this camp, in this offseason, he has been killing it. In camp and offseason, his work ethic is apparently higher than ever. His motor's higher than ever. Dude seems like a beast in these practice tapes I'm seeing. He flipped a lineman or something. He looks amazing. I don't want to hype him up too much because we never know, but I'm not that worried about our defensive line right now, especially because I like Rodney Gunter and Josh Morrow as well. I think defensive line is not going to be that as bad as people think with Calais leaving. Obviously, Calais is a blow, but it's not as big as a blow as people might be saying. I think we have a good enough depth there to really make up for that loss. I'm probably going to play some clips of Robert at camp over my face right now, and you can just see how he's demolishing these players. It's impressive. I really like his move set. I think that this is some stuff I would show the defensive lineman that I coach personally. I believe that in a couple years he'd get this down easily. I think he's going to be a great player for us. Next, Darnell Dockett, probably. Onto a little story, it's something I care about. I like the Big Red Rage, and the new host is Carlos Dansby. I would really have liked to see Chandler Jones, and Chandler Jones has more personality. He seems like a funner dude, but maybe he just wasn't able to do it. But yeah, Ronald Zamart, cornerback that we obtained last year in a practice squad. He actually was looking pretty good. He was starting where Justin Bethel was not, because Justin Bethel tweaked something and he was starting across from Pat Pete, and apparently looks really good in practice, better than Brandon Williams, which says a lot about Brandon Williams. But Ronald Zamart tore his ACL. You might not have known him, but he looked like something that was going to be really good, and my thoughts and prayers go out to him. I hope he has a good recovery and can come back and maybe be a presence on this team. But as for other news on corners, I think we are in for a signing, either Tremont Williams, Brandon Flowers, or Darrell Rivas within the next week. That's just my opinion. Hey everybody, Editor Nick here, and an hour after I made this video, the Cardinals did sign Tremont Williams. I'll be excited to see him in the future, and I hope he steps up, because I know when he was on the Browns, he didn't do very good at the number 1 corner. But maybe, just maybe, at the second corner spot, he could flourish. Because of how not deep we are at corner. Brandon Williams apparently was doing pretty good once Ronald came off. He was being very physical, so I think that's good. His tackles were looking nice, and yeah. Before the end of this Cardwire, I wanted to go a little more in depth into the running back situation. I don't believe Andre Ellington will make the team. Andre Ellington is kind of a gadget player. We have 5, I think. Yeah, David Johnson, Chris Johnson, Elijah Pinion, Kerwin Williams, and TJ Logan, who I think will beat out Andre Ellington. I can't tell you who the 4 or 5 running backs we keep are going to be, but I don't think Andre Ellington makes his team. I like Andre. I like Red Jesus. I think he was good when he was good, but I don't think he's good enough anymore. But maybe that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cardwire. If you would like to help with Cardwire or the Fat Kid Football Network, please tell me. I'm looking for people always to help. Maybe write little articles that I could read on here or something like that. Maybe just your opinion. Maybe I could get a little video clip of you. Maybe I could talk to you during the show. I'd love to have guests. But yeah, have a good day, and stay good. No, but really, I hope y'all have a great day, and thank you very much for tuning in.
Okay. You live in my dream, step